Join us for a review of the new Kia Xceed. Let's go! Well, here in the front of the Kia Xceed, you can see you have this silver meshed grille and also silver accentuations in the lower part. It does remind us of the seat, but it still has an own styling. Here's these curved headlamps. They come with LED as standard in this version. 4.39 m, 14'4" or 173 inches is the length of the Kia Xceed. And you can see here this plastic crossover wheel arches, together in this case here with 18-inch wheels. It's an option. You can also go with 16-inch wheels. Depends on what is more important to you, a softer ride or the greater visual factor. So you could decide that on your own. A very interesting rear design as well with this special Xceed logo. Then pretty slim tail lamps with an interesting LED signature. Then the lower end again has the silver contrast, but these are pure fake exhaust. The real exhaust is underneath, but I think the design is still quite fresh. What's your take? As engines, you have a 1-liter petrol engine with 120 horsepower. This one here, the 1.4 liter with 140 horsepower. Then there's a 1.6 liter with 204 horsepower. They're all turbocharged, and the bigger ones also have a 7-speed DCT optional. And then there's also diesel 1.6 liter with 115 or with 136 horsepower. And new also that the 1.6 petrol can be combined with a plug-in hybrid version and with 141 horsepower system output. That will also be quite exciting. And the interior, soft touch here at the inside of the doors, also leather red and the inside there, so good build quality, everything very solid here. Memory seat with 2 saving spots, Xceed floor mats, aluminum pedals. You can get pure fabric seats or these fabric leather red mix, so leather red on the outside, fabric on the inside. Here also with a special edition, belongs to the launch model as well, with this honeycomb style structure with the contrast stitches, and this is indeed fabric. It doesn't look like it, but it is actually. So a very fancy, unique setup. Finally someone is daring. I mean, it's really cool. I think you have to like it, definitely. Also color wise, maybe yellow is not my favorite color, but this yellow fits of course to the exterior color. Then steering wheel can be controlled manually, up and down, in and out. Everything feels and looks very solid, so pretty satisfied with that. As for the maximum headroom, I'm 1.86 m or 6'1". If I put the seat all the way down, there's still plenty of headroom left. I tend to put it a little bit higher so they have a better angle, you know, so it's not falling backwards. I think it's a very comfortable seating position. These fabric seats here stay cool in summer and they are also not too cold in winter, so that's definitely a good choice. And also visual-wise, as I said, very attractive. Again, you have to like the yellow color. I would wish that there would maybe be like different colors. For example, you can also pick like a blue stitching or something. That would be maybe something for the future. Interior overview, again, good quality materials, soft touch at the top part here, top infotainment system and digital instruments, soon more to that. This part here is also soft touch, separate climate unit still, very easy to control and to see. Heated steering wheel function or heated seat, so straightforward in design. This is what the Golf used to be, and it seems to be that the Kia Ceed somehow takes the place of the Golf as, let's say, you know, the straightforward to use vehicle. Pretty interesting. Manual gearbox here today. There's also a DCT optional. The lower part here has an inductive charging platform, top part here, but you can usually would put in the cable to use the Apple CarPlay, as you can see here. Then lower part with the USB device and more 12-volt power supply, and another USB charging device just for charging. You can also close that if you like. More in the lower part, adaptive cup holders, electric park and brake, and some more space underneath here. Reasonable under the armrest, steering wheel, right side for the cruise control, for example, and to control something of the digital instruments, left side mainly for the volume and picking up the phone. And with the digital instruments, you would start analog, and then with a 3.5-inch screen in the middle, optional then a 4.2-inch screen, a little bit bigger in the middle, and then these are the full digital instruments, 12.3-inch. And on the right side here, you would start with a 5-inch screen. Then there's a bigger one available with 8-inch. That would also include then the Apple CarPlay already. And this is the optional 10.25-inch screen. Is it really necessary? Not exactly. If you mainly use CarPlay, then you'll also be fine with the 8-inch. Yes, the front seat is in a position where it's forward and not backward due to this comfort feature, and still that does not leave us so much legroom. It does somehow work for 4 tall Ls, but when I'm driving in the front, you see I do hit the front seat with my knees already. It's not too bad because it's a soft background. Headroom wise, that's no problem, still some space left. By the way, hard pack at the rear doors, I think we can live with that as for the price performance ratio. So this is awesome. Introduced with the Hyundai Tucson in 2015, I think. See here, I just approached the vehicle from the rear with a key in my pocket, and tada, it opens itself even without a foot kick opening mechanism. That's really awesome. So great to have that function. A lot of space underneath. You could also fit a replacement tire. Some measurements right here. The length is at 85 centimeters. Hey, what's up? Joining us here for Thomas's driving lounge in the Kia X씨드, or X씨드, however you pronounce it. So the 1.4 liter turbo petrol engine, in this case with 140 horsepower. We're also going to talk about the general driving features of this vehicle, and also a comparison here, the X씨드 to the normal seat. Yeah, you sit a little, like seat with C and seat. We're sitting on, is always funny. Yeah, I think they are sitting 4 centimeters higher or 1.5 inches higher. Talked about that earlier. It's also somewhat a more, there's a cozier driving feeling, a little bit more relaxed. The suspension is also not too stiff, so it's a good compromise between sportiness and comfort. So it's not too shaky or something. It is, crisp enough, but it's also not harsh that you would feel every bump on the road or so. So I think found a good setup here. They do not offer an adaptive suspension. That's not available. Yet again, you don't have to pay anything extra then for any suspension. I think you can be happy with the normal suspension here. The sport models, the GT, for example, the Seat GT, that one could use an adaptive suspension that there's more, span between comfort and sportiness. But here the, let's say, non-sport models, I think you're just fine with the normal suspension here as well. The steering wheel is set up in a direct way, so you don't have to steer that much. You have a good feeling. There's no dead zone whatsoever. Noise insulation here at lower speeds is absolutely fine. We'll soon also approach the motorway and see what about noise insulation there. Quality of materials, talked about that earlier, is also very good. So what you feel and control, everything from the input is also very solid. And you have an overall good and cozy, safe feeling in the vehicle. Some of the safety equipment is standard, most of that is optional. Suspension, again, if you would have an adaptive suspension, it would bring you more comfort, I think. So suspension-wise, again, all good, but not that I would say it has the best suspension in segment. That's maybe something they could still improve. And as I said earlier, with this vehicle, you really have to search for things where you could suggest them to still improve things. Most of the other stuff is really already very well done. As for fuel economy, you can score some realistic figures of 7 liters on 100 kilometers or 34 mpg US, 41 mpg UK. A little bit worse, so a little bit less mpg, or a little bit like 7.5 liters on 100 kilometers. When you are driving a little bit faster on the motorway, who would do that? Or when you drive a little more city traffic and so on. So that depends. Yeah, not the best fuel economy, but also not the worst. So that's some, somehow also standard, so to say. This could be a little bit better. Everything else, really very cool. And one thing I like best is the straightforward design of the commands. So when I want to activate the seat heating or the steering wheel heating, this is so easily done, with the separate buttons. And again, yes, thank you so much that we still have separate buttons here. And so now, before we're going all the way down to 50, third gear. Third gear is not really proper for 50. So let's see, let those guys overtake. We have a little bit downhill situations now, but from 50 in second gear and then go to third, let's go. That's 100 with a little bit downhill. So you can see, I have to push this one a little bit, but still okay from the performance, And now at 100 kilometers an hour or 60 miles an hour, again, still a good noise insulation. So there's not massive amount of rolling tire noise or wind noise. So we also have a good result in this case. And now to our conclusion for today with the Kia Xceed. Well, first of all, it's a fresh exterior. This crossover look does work with the seat platform, yes, especially in this golden color, something pretty unique. And also from the exterior features, you already see a solid build quality that continues on the interior then, so really very well built. So hardly anything we can really criticize there, and a very straightforward design that is of course very, very cool. That means you can control everything in a very easy and straightforward way, still with a lot of separate buttons. I really like that. Not everything needs to be done in the infotainment system. Optionally, you can go for a lot of infotainment options, but you'll also be fine with the lower spec versions, so to keep the price still lower a little bit. And this is about 5k extra if you compare it to the normal Kia Ceed, but it already comes with more standard equipment. So overall, for example, German price 21 to 34k depending on the equipment and the engine and so on. And I think you can still score a very decent price performance ratio, and to me also one of the best price performance ratios in the compact segment or compact hatch segment overall at the moment. This little bit higher riding, 4 centimeters or 1.5 inches or seating position is, I think, very good. So it gives a little bit more comfort without giving you much less fun in driving or something. So I think it's still a good compromise, and I think this crossover version will also be quite successful. Fuel economy could be a little bit better. Suspension maybe also a little bit better. Then again, if you're not into the visuals that much, you could go for 16-inch wheels instead of the 18 one. And then you also have a little softer riding quality. Overall, I think a very, very solid performance here. Pretty liked it. What about you? Tell me your comments here about this vehicle, and also see you next time.